need to
October 5th. This is when now we
get
starting.
ready
And Ashatpadi number 20.
for His grace. Gur Prasadi Pai. If you are not preparing yourself for His grace, which is karma parapat hoye, His grace will, His prasad, Gur Prasad will lead you to Him. Why is that a reminder? It's a reminder to make sure that we don't become the doer. Every action, we need to remind ourselves that it is His energy that we are using. So those who have internalized this message, what happens to them? And that's where the next hymn starts. पंखी बिरख सुहावड़ा सच चुगे गुर भाए हर रस पीवे सहज रहे उड़े न आवे जाए निज घर वासा पाया हर हर नाम समाए. Pankhi. Who's the Pankhi here? Who's the bird here? The inner being. And the inner being has what? Birk. What is the birk? The tree. Pankhi किस tree च रहंदा है? In this body. So Pankhi means the Jeevistri. Birk means the body. And what is he doing? Pankhi birk sohavada sach chuge. Chugna means what? The food. The seed that he picks. What is he picking? He's picking such, the truth, the ultimate truth. How did he get to that stage? Karm prapat hoye. His grace has led this to a stage where Pankhi birk sohavada sach chuge gur bhai. See the connection between the 18 and the 19? I mean the 19 and the 20th? 19th ended Karam Prapat Hoye. Those who have it, their recognition, unna di nishani ki hai. How do you recognize them? Is Pankhi birk sohavada sach chuge gur bhai. Now his food is only the truth. No BS. And he has or she has no hang up in pointing out, stop making fun of me. Stop making fool of me. That is not a reality. Which is we, in today's world, try to hide from the truth by saying, "Aaj uda dil dukh jayega." Why do you want to hurt his feeling? Even if he's lying, just let him. Even when you know he is not telling the truth, and even though you know he is exaggerating, let him get away with it. Who does that? The one who is still attached with the outer world. The one who is attached with the inner world, he does not tolerate it. But he knows how to say it. Let's take some examples. When Guru Nanak goes to Hardwar and he finds a lot of people offering water to the sun, what does he do? Did he go and say, "You're all idiots. Why are you doing this?" No, he doesn't do that. He creates a situation where the others come and say, "What are you doing?" He didn't call anybody a liar. Didn't even tell them they are doing something wrong. He knows how to point that out, but not live with it. Our problem is that we very comfortably, easily, conveniently agree to live with it. and hide behind the fact, well, had I pointed out, he would have been hurt. There's a beautiful metaphor in the life of Muhammad. Somebody heard about him from way, way back and came to see him, but was new in Medina when he was living in Medina. And naturally, because from the dress and everybody, somebody coming from the other land, it was very easy to pick him that he doesn't belong to this area. But he had heard how Muhammad is preaching the 5 prayers and namaz and all of that. And he looks at the sun and he thinks that it's about time for the prayer. And he starts doing his prayer. And now Muhammad is watching, and along with him is Allah Baksh, his disciple. So now he needs to be told by Muhammad as to what is his way of praying. But how do you tell him without telling him that you are wrong? So he asked Allah Baksh to get that guy, and he comes over and says, and this is how it starts. He says, it looks like you are not from here. I said, no, I'm. Well, that's exactly what I was looking for. Somebody who's not from here. He says, why? Well, he and I have been arguing all day long. What's the right way to pray to God? He's going to tell you what is his ways, then I will tell you what my way is, and you be the judge. Because we didn't want anybody who knows either one of us. So Allah Baksh now imitates the way he's doing. And then Muhammad, in a more gentle and graceful way, does his way. And says, now, you are the judge. And without telling anybody anything, he says, you the Muhammad I have come to look for, because nobody else can be that sensitive to point a fault without pointing a fault. I haven't run into anybody in my life before. Are you Muhammad? It takes some effort and some energy and some thoughtfulness at that moment. But we don't even make that effort. We just walk away from Keelana. Why to get involved? Just walk away. That's not the lifestyle of Pankhi Birkha Sohavada. What's his food? Sach Chuge Guru Bhai. And then Har ras peeve sahaj rahe. Day and night, it's into the basic, that masti, what do you call that, being a high on what? The taste of that word, that name. Ude naya jai. Now nowhere to go. Swami Ramanand says, Kat jaiye re, ghare lago rang. Kat jaiye re, ghare lago rang. Mera chit na chale. Man bhayo pang. Pang means the one whose legs are broken. And he says that. He says, I thought एक दिन मन भई उमंग कि मैं जाके ते ठाकर दी पूजा करके आऊं. He said, when I started that, suddenly Guru's word resounded inside. Where are you going? The Guru is inside, not outside. And from that day onward, complete movement of the mind has stopped. And if the mind doesn't go anywhere, body automatically cannot move. So what is happening here? Ude na aave jai. It's not going anywhere. Why? Nij ghar vasa paya. Nij ghar. Nij means the original, from where we all came from. That house, that source, back to that place. And har har naam samaye. Become one with one. Man re gur ki kar kamaye, gur ke bhane je chale, the andin rache harnaye. Rahav. How is that possible, O mind? Listen to the master and do what he tells you. Man re gur ki kar kamaye. Not Guru ke shabd gaye, not Guru ke shabd samjhaye, not Guru ke shabd likhaye. Nothing. Kar kamaye. Do it. What has been told to you. And then what? Guru ki bhane je chale da anadin rache harnaye. If you accept that grace, accept that word and make it a part of your life, you will find that you are actually becoming one with the one. But those who do not, see, those were the lines, those who accepted the first condition, and those who did not, what's their state? Next line. Pankhi birkh suhavade. Isn't that interesting? Look at this, the structure of the words. The first was Pankhi birkh suhavada. Right? That means only one. The one attached with one. Singular. But those who are not, how are they being pointed out? Pankhi birkh sohavade. That has become plural now. They are attached with many. And what are they doing? Ude chaudis bhai, chaudis jai. They are running around all over the place. What does that mean? Running around. Well, because their mind-body system hasn't accepted a single point of reference. So they go here and talk, they hear and talk, and here they discuss, and all they do is go from place to place and discuss and talk. That's it. Don't we do that? जो फलाने संत जी ने आए ने उन्होंने लेक्चर सुन चले आज फलाने योगी जी आए ने उन्होंने योगा आसन सिखाने फलाना ने अभ्यास करना उधर चले right why don't you sit down and do one well no we are equal opportunity you should hear everybody and listen to everybody and do everything कहने चलने वाले मंजिल पे पहुंच गए रास्ता पूछने वालों की उम्र पूछने में गुजर गई थोड़ा सा चल के एम आई गोइंग राइट होने का नहीं थोड़ा सा डिटूर ला रहा चला गया थोड़ा सा डिटूर है चला गया कितने भी नहीं पहुंचे That's the story of human mind. Now, why does he do that? What do you think? What is the motivation? He wants the maximum output with the minimum investment. So when he goes on one, he thinks this is going to take a longer time. I think this guy knows the shortcut. Inu puch ke dekh liya.
Maybe they don't want to miss any opportunity. Maybe this is what.
So then isn't it like since I'm driving on the northbound, let me take every exit because I don't want to miss anyone. Let me take every exit and see what's there.
Maybe it's because they don't have any tools to figure out who the right one is.
And that's the point. That's precisely the point. There are no tools. There are no guarantees. This is a pathless path.
So somebody could be on the wrong path.
But nobody knows that. Wrong and right is a human concept. Because no matter where you start, you eventually end up there. The point is that if you stay consistent, persistent, and you follow it sincerely. Because it's a circle, isn't it?
Everybody says the same thing.
So everybody says the same thing, but it is a circle, isn't it? Even if you start the reverse direction, you will still get there. It may take a little longer.
No, but everybody doesn't say the same thing, right? Like we said, somebody creates the fear, somebody creates the greed.
Yeah, but
And
everybody
you
says that
get
you do
This
this,
method will get you there. This method will get you
Right. So for somebody who's a jigyasu, it's very hard to figure out. which one
Let's
is
take,
right
let's
one.
take some examples here, and that's a very beautiful point. In India, the oldest system is Vedanta. Right? Vedanta chose the water as a symbol of meditation. It is a misfortune of the humanity that they took the water and turned it into a purification with the water. The purification was going to be if the water-like qualities are developed inside. That was I mean. Look at the water, look at its properties, and become water with water. Right? Jal ka jal hua ram. You are a drop, here is a ocean, become one with one. By developing the qualities of the ocean. But that didn't happen. But those who followed that did achieve.
Sure.
That's why they wrote that.
Sure. Final point got lost.
Now, Yoga Shastra, Yogi log, Gorakhnath and Machandranath and all of those people took the symbol of fire and said, make an offering to the fire from within yourself. Burn something of you every time you sit next to the fire. And what did that turn out into? We put samagri, the most expensive though, right? चंदन दी लकड़ी जेड़ी गरीब आदमी उथे अफोर्ड ही नहीं कर सकता, देसी घ्यो जेड़ा गरीब नूं बल्लों लाण नूं नहीं मिलता, you take that and make a part of the smoke, which was never meant to be. It was meant to be your hand should go toward the fire like this and something should be flowing out of you. Now those who followed that, they achieved it, and that's why they documented it. Islam, Muhammad took the earth as a symbol and said, you become matti, dust with the dust. Develop those qualities. Become that humble. Become that egoless. Get to the 0 point. The moment you are at the 0 point, Allah is. Now those who went with that, which are the Sufis, right? Farid was one of the Sufis. They achieved that. If Patanjali took the Yoga Shastra, he said, keep on sitting in that particular posture, in that asana, until your inner feeling does not match with that. So what happened to the Patanjali's Yoga Shastra? It became an exercise and helped to take care of some sickness and the body illnesses. And what is the most common thing that you see advertised about Yoga Shastra? Has anybody said that you achieved nirvana with that or become a Brahmgyani? ever read anywhere? Your heart problem can be cured, your cholesterol can be cured, your diabetes can be cured, etc., etc., etc. But that was not the purpose of Yoga Shastra. Patanjali never meant it. We turned it into it. So when Diwan Sahib is saying that if you look at the essence of the messages and go beyond it, you will discover that they are all saying, and there is certain truth to that. The problem is that the human mind doesn't want to put that long an effort, that deep an effort. Well, is there an easy way? Well, tu masjid aaya jayega 5 ਵਾਰ ਬੁੱਲੇ ਨੂੰ ਸਭ ਲੋਕੀ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਵੇ ਤੂੰ ਆਇਆ ਨਾ ਕਦੇ ਮਸੀਤੀ ਬੁੱਲਾ ਕਹਿੰਦਾ ਮਸੀਤੇ ਜਾ ਕੇ ਕੀ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਜੇ ਦਿਲੋਂ ਨਮਾਜ਼ ਨਾ ਕੀਤੀ ਅਰੇ ਸੂਫੀ ਫਕੀਰ ਬਾਹਰੋਂ ਧੋਤੇ ਲੱਤਾਂ ਗੋਡੇ ਅੰਦਰੇ ਰਹੀ ਪਲੀਤੀ ਕੰਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਹੱਥ ਲਾ ਕੇ ਤੂੰ ਨਮਾਜ਼ ਚਾ ਕੀਤੀ ਤੇਰਾ ਦਿਲ ਖੜਾਵੇ ਮੁੰਡੇ ਕਰੀਆਂ ਸਜਦੇ ਕਰੇ ਮਸੀਤੀ ਉਹ ਦੁਨੀਆਦਾਰਾ ਰੱਬ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਵੀ 420 ਤੈਂ ਕੀਤੀ That's bullshit. भाई मसीत ते जान का मतलब नहीं सी खुदा दे इत्थे भी है ये रब ये गल नहीं मंदिर मस्जिद दी ये गल नहीं मस्जिद मंदिर दी ये गल है सारी अंदर दी वो बंदे विच मौला वेखीदा बंदे विच मौला वेखीदा खुदा किथे नहीं है कहता बंदे च देख लै हर बंदे की सूरत खुदा है मुसलमान नजर ही नहीं आता वो कहते अल्लाह ਉਹਨੂੰ ਕਹਿੰਦਾ ਉਹਦਾ ਸਿਰ ਕੱਟ ਦਿਓ Isn't that mind boggling? If you are not saying Allahu Akbar, your head needs to be chopped up. That's it. I don't see Allah in you because you are not saying Allahu Akbar. And he was literally doing gardening when somebody came to retired age, sitting. And somebody asked him, Sainji, how to meet Allah? And he very casually says, Bulya Rabb da ki paana, idharੋਂ ਪੁੱਟਣਾ ਤੇ idhar ਲਾਣਾ. Means what? There are certain plants. Those plants we say we first put paneeri, right? What ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਨੇ ਅੰਗਰੇਜ਼ੀ ਚ? Seedling, right? Right. And you go to the and they have these little cups and that, and then you bring it in and put your own land. And if you leave them in their own land, patch of land, they will not grow. They have to be uprooted and put somewhere else. Same is the case with the human mind. Where the way it was born and the way it grew up, if you leave it there, it will never get its due potential. So what you have to do is, you have to uproot it from there. Adharong take it out from here. The way you were born, the way you were raised, the way you were educated. Take it out. Now what happens when you take a plant out and the roots become visible, exposed to the air? That plant dies. Right? So once you kill that and say now create the seed on this side, means so you were raised to look outward, change everything and start looking inward. Adharong put, take it out. Adhar law, put it there. Unless you have the desire and the courage. That's Rajneesh's term. धर्म इस बुजदिलों के लिए नहीं है. धर्म की यात्रा बुजदिलों के लिए नहीं है. Right? What you call buzdil in English? Cowards. Spiritual journey is not for the cowards. Why? Because you have to uproot everything that you brought with you till today. And that's why it basically says, Pankhi birk zohavada sach chuge. What is our khana today? What's our food today? Jhoot. Don't get mad. We all like jhoot. We love it. Isn't it? Think about it. Aji main kis tarah lagdi hai? Now try to answer that question and see if you can get away with it. Or try to tell some man you are not that smart and see what happens to them. Isn't it? Normally, if a man is working in the garage, the woman would normally send the child and say, Tera pyo kete gaya, sara ko saadi na deve. Oh, kam te kar laga, unne koi na koi tod phod dena. Isn't it? You try to tell that man that you are not that smart. You are not that intelligent. Right? We like to hear the untruth. That's what we enjoy. But if we are on that path, and somebody said you are prettiest of them all, and you will say, don't insult my intelligence. I know who I am, what I am, and I am very comfortable with my stupidities. We don't acknowledge that. And those are the kind of changes that are required. You cannot tell a female at the age of 80 or 90 or 100 that you are no more physically appealing. She fights for that, particularly in this culture. If not, go to the hospital and see them when they are going under the knife, see how they are dressed up. Everything. Who are you dressing her for? For the doctor. And if I die on the street, I want to look good.
Make sure. Make sure I look.
And the crazy part is, those who go to the morning, they first go to the hairdresser.
Yeah.
And then they stop in the bar and take a drink. So that they are in their best talkative or smiling mood. Hey, we don't want to go to the and show him our long face. Oh, is he in a position to see your face? So what is this all? We are comfortable with the untruth. A spiritualist gets disappointed when he or she does not find the truth. And they are constantly in search of that type of companionship, that type of journey, friends, relatives. That's what they look. That's what is called satsang. They constantly look for those who can be your co-traveler and help you further and further, and not expect. It just happened with me just recently. There is a small association of about, I think about 35 or so people who graduated in 1962 from Delhi University, Delhi College of Engineering. And I got their email. They asked them to please join the group. So I said, okay. So I joined the group, and they were posting, these all jokes and stuff like that. And I sent them an email and saying I would like to start a new thread on spiritualism. And the first response was, before you start a discussion on the spiritualism, let's make sure that 300 million people in India have enough food in their stomach so that they can participate. So I wrote back and I said, that's an insult to both Buddha and Mahavira. They were both kings princes. And they went out looking for the ultimate truth without worrying about the world hunger problem. And the answer came back again. That's an elitist, arrogant attitude to talk of spirituality when 300 million people in India are still starving. And I said, fine, I got the message. I quit the group.
If they were exchanging jokes, if they were exchanging jokes, how does that help the hunger?
So, now they are calling me all kinds of names that I call myself spiritualist, but I have no tolerance for them on their thought process. And I'm basically saying I am not judge of yours, but I don't have the time, energy, or the desire to invest in that type of endeavor. Good luck to you. Please enjoy each other's company and do what you want to do and say what you want to say to each other. I'm okay. The point I'm making is, Gurbani is insisting on us saying, Pankhi birkh sohavada sach chuge Gurbhai. You got to seek out the time, and that's a conscientious choice. Nobody will come and force you. But if you don't, then what will happen? Pankhi birkh sohavade udhe chau dis jaye. Then you will be from one to the other, one to the other. And that's how they actually was trying to tell me. We also go to the Peer di Dargah. देखो we go जाके असी चढ़ावा करके आना है उथे पीरां दी निगाहे पीर दे. And then we are going to go to the Vaishnu Devi and we're going to do there. And on the way back we'll stop over in Gurdwara also.
अपने आप secularist कहते हैं. That's the term they use. We are secularists.
And that's what Kabir used to call Mathe Tilak, Hath Mala, Bana, Logan Ram, Khelo Na Jana. धर्म एक खेल बन गया है. It has become a toy to play with. The whole of the religious practice is just a game to entertain yourself and then laugh at each other. He says you are a fool and he says you are a fool and everybody is calling everybody fool. And Gurbani says, why is that happening? Pankhi birkh sohavade ude chaudis jaye jeta ude dukh ghane nit daje tabillaye. More you run around in the outer world, the inner pain keeps on increasing. Nit dajhe. Dajhe means little dukh-dukhi, to feel the heat inside. Dajna hunda sar jana, jal jana, to burn. And with that little heat, tabillahe, then you cry about it. Why me? What did I do? I have never done anything wrong. I have not hurt anybody, at least knowingly. And that's why I always submit to you. Do you think I can put that claim? I have not hurt anybody knowingly. Because I know for a fact that hundreds of people have gone away from this very congregation very much hurt by what I said. I know that. So can I claim that I don't hurt anybody? How do I know that? Who are feeling good about it, who are not feeling good about it? It is an arrogant statement. Asi kadi kisi da koi nuksan nahi karte. I never do anything to anybody knowingly. It's an absolute egotistical statement. Because you do not know. Well, I always meet with the smiling face. Well, Some may be sitting in a very, very sad state, and you smile, and your smile may not be very welcome at that time. Look at it. I am suffering and he's smiling. How can you say I don't hurt anybody? That's why Kabir says, don't you ever try to do that. What? Put that claim. What is the claim? Apne karam ki gat main kya janu. That's Kabir. Say, how do I know my action is doing what to who? I don't know. Apne karam ki, my action, ki gat, the impact. How do I know that? And why do I put a claim that main to bilkul theek kar rahe hain ji? You may get up early in the morning and you may want to be in a very meditative and spiritual mood, and you go wake up your neighbor who couldn't sleep all night because had a bad stomach or headache, and they're just ready to fall asleep, and you wake them up. And you wake up with all the good intention. Come on, let's pray. That's why there is a quotation. The way to hell is paved with very good intentions. We don't know that. That claim is an absolute erroneous. And once you get to that state, you will, and understand it, you will never ever declare to anybody. When we say, you tell me, all my life I have been living with you, what wrong I have done to you? Can you give me one example? You ask that question, you're going to find a list. No, but that was meant to be this way. I did that, said that because of this. No, but it hurt me. I was not in that need. I was not in that frame of receptive mind, and you forced that on me, and I had to swallow it. Daily argument in the house. मैं कपड़े धोनी है, प्रेस करनी है, रोटी बनानी है, भांडे मांजनी है, बच्चे पालनी है, सफाई करनी है, फिर भी कुछ नहीं होता. I don't know how to make him happy. He's never satisfied. Okay. Is that one of your desires? That he should be satisfied and happy? Of course, which wife doesn't want that? Then stop telling him to be happy with something. Ask him, what is your happiness today? What do you need today, now? Well, what's wrong with that? I made gobi yesterday, I made gobi now. Why shouldn't I be happy with the gobi now? He was okay with yesterday. See? I'm trying to make a point. It is never the intention that the other should be happy. The intention is, I need to be happy, so you be happy in my happiness. And the same mantra is being repeated on the other side. I need to be happy and you be happy in my happiness. So what's happening? Two beggars with empty bowls, both asking, put something in my bowl. Isn't it? Love me. Give me the love. Well, he says, no, you give me the love. Both are beggars. None of them is willing to say, here is my love to you. Extend your bowl so that I can put my love to you. Love in it. No. You give it to me. You owe it to me. Because I asked one day the very same question. A bunch of women were sitting around and say, why do the women say that the man owes it to them? And the response was, all right, haven't we gone around the fire or the Granth and so? That was your promise. That's it. You have to make us happy. Because you took us from the house of our father who was making us happy. And the reality is, that wasn't the case there also. The whole game is of the self-gratification, which becomes the root of the basic dukkha, the basic pain, which is what Gurbani is pointing out. Jeda ude, dukh ghane, nit dhaje te bil laye. Then he complains. Why me? But understand, bin gur mehl na ja pai, na amrit phal paaye. Without understanding that message from the master, from the guru, you are not going to be able to see the difference as to what you are doing versus what you are saying. And all the examples I have given you today, I have given you from the daily, day-to-day life, and every one of us is familiar with all of them. They are not meant to be jokes, they are not meant to be insulting, they are not meant to be judging anybody, male or female. Because the focus is not on the Guru's word. Guru is basically saying, Pankhi birk sohavada sach chuge Guru bhai. You have to attach yourself to the ultimate truth. So if you come home and your favorite dish is not available and you start getting angry, it is not because the dish is not available. You are getting angry because you are an angry person. The anger is inside you. That just not having the favorite dish was just a triggering mechanism, a catalytic agent. If there was no anger in you, it doesn't matter how many trigger points were pushed. There will be no anger. So, learn to face the truth. If you are going to be on that. If you are not, then what will happen? Jeta ude dukh ghane nit daje te billahe bin gur mehl na ja pai na amrit phal pahe. Without that, just hoping against the hope. Oh well, we go to the church and the mandir and the gurdwara and we do all these things and we have done so many parts and so many this and so many that. None of that is going to help. They were social functions. You did social functions. Social function gave the entertainment for that moment and you got enjoyed. Some people came and had some fun with you and you're done. The whole thing is finished. It has no long-term effect. Gurmukh Brahm Hariyavala Sache Sahaj Subhaye Sakha Teen Nivariya Ek Shabad Livlaye. Those who are on this path and truly understand, they know. They have understood the word from the Guru, which is Gurmukh Brahm Hariyavala. It is ever green, ever living being. It is never sad, it's never gloomy. And you can only get there through Sache Sahaj Subhaye. The truth in a complete Sahaj. Not making it a punishment to body or mind or the system, according to your natural God-given gift, Subhai. And what you will do with that? Shakha teen nivariya. Shakha means the branches. Teen means 3. Nivariya means to transcend them. So anybody want to take a guess as to what are the 3 shakha? Symbol? Tragunans. Yeah. Tamo, Rajo, and Sato. But look at the word. It is a Nivariya. To go beyond them. Not go up to them. Which is what the rest of the world says to you. Get rid of Tamo. and go to Rajo, and then get off the Rajo and go to Sato, and once you are in Sato, you are done. Then you are ready for heaven. Gurbani says, you haven't done your job. You have now go beyond Sato also. You have to transcend. And how would you do that? Ek shabad levelai. With one word. The power of that word. Why? Amrit phal har ek hai, ape dekho why. There is only one ultimate destiny for everyone, which is to taste that fruit. Which fruit? Amrit. The one who is beyond the birth and the death. So, become capable of His grace so that ape dekhawai, He becomes completely enamored by you and grace you with His gift. And if you don't, see how it's running parallel both tracks. The one who is on this and the one who's not. Who's not? Manmukh ube sukh gaye naam phal tinna shaun. Who's manmukh? The one who is following the mind process. What is the mind process? All the thoughts collected so far. All belief systems. What should be the belief system of a seeker? It's not a trick question. What should be the belief system of a seeker? Only one. That there is no belief. That's the only belief allowed. Let it go inside. Let it sink. If you remember you are a Sikh and you continue insisting of being a Sikh, you have a limiting belief system. If you remember you are a Hindu, a Muslim, a Christian, a Bodhi, it doesn't matter. A rich or a poor, a black or a white, a man or a woman, an Indian or American, it doesn't matter. Any belief system that you have will limit you. And the only belief system will help you to go beyond this is, I have no belief system. Everything is okay. And the scientists are saying the same way. Remember that scientist who wrote 3 books? I am okay, you are okay. Right? So what were the 3 conditions he was talking about? I am okay, you are not. That's the one condition, which is 90% of the human race. I am okay, you are not. Then there is, you are okay, I am not. And that's about another 8% of the people who are actually down. They don't have the self-esteem. They are down on themselves. And then there is another extreme. You are not okay, I am not okay. Who are those? Who commit suicides. This world is not worth living. I am not okay, you are not okay. And there's about 1% who says, I am okay, you are okay. That's the only belief allowed in a spiritual world. No other. No other variation is acceptable. So Guru Nanak says, what should be your belief system? Don't believe in me. Guru Nanak does not call himself Guru. We insist. I mean, he writes down in his own words, bin satgur kine na payo, bin satgur kine na paya. Who's writing that? That's Guru Nanak. Now, can he call himself Satguru then? Asi कहने Satguru Guru Nanak Dev Ji. He's not calling himself a Guru or a Satguru. Who's Satguru according to Guru Nanak? Satgur mera sada sada na aave na jaye oho avinashi purakh hai sab mein rahya samaye. That's the Sadguru. So those who get there, who understand that, they go to that Sahaj Avastha. But those who are not, those who are following their own mindset, manamukh ube, to get bored. Sukh gaye means their inner energy is continuously drawing. Na phal, tinna chhaon, they have no relief. Tinna paas na baisiye, o na ghar na girao. Katiye te nit jaliye, o na shabad na nao. Those who are seeking, if they cannot bring them along, if you cannot bring them with you, then you should not insist in their company. You should just accept them the way they are, and you should politely withdraw yourself. Now, this is not being judgmental. Understand that. When you get to a state where their influence will not impact your journey, by all means be there. Right? I mean, Guru Nanak only goes to Sajjan Thug, to Kauda Rakshas, to Wali Kandhari. Why does he do that? Why he picks up the worst of the worst mankind? Because he knows that he's not going to be impacted by them, but he has a hope of impacting them. That's what I have shared this parable with you, that when Junaid got out of the house, left his all riches, and it's a rainy night and he's sitting in front of a mosque, in masjid, and he knocks the door, and the Qaji, he opens the door. He says, Khuda de bande, let me stay here for a night. And he says, no, this is, I cannot let every Tom, Dick and Harry to come and stay inside the mosque. So he's now sitting outside, a rainy and stormy night, and somebody is walking by him on a horse, and he stops by and looks at him and says, what are you doing here? Well, the Qaji is not allowing me to stay there, so where else to go? And he says, okay, I understand. Khuda de ghar vich Khuda de bandiyan nu jagah nahi hundi. It's a known problem. So come with me. So he takes him to his own home, opens the guest room and say, stay here and I'll see you in the morning. And so, where are you going? Say, I'm going to work. Work at the middle of the night in rainy and stormy? What kind of work is that? I'm a thief. This is the best time to work. He immediately picks up his clothes and he starts. So where are you going now? Oh, come on now. You are a thief. I am a saint. How can we have company? And the thief turns around to him and said, well, I am confident that your being saint is not going to affect me, but you don't have any confidence in your being a sant that my being here will affect you. So I wonder what kind of a sant you are. So Junaid says that was his first master. And he's telling this to his disciple. His disciple asked him, who was your teacher? And he gave this life's experience. That was my first master. And then what happened? He said, well, I stayed with him. Every time I was ready to get up, he would say, do you have any place to go? And I would say, no. So, well, then where are you going? Sit here. Are you not comfortable? Just, you are sitting down there and meditating all day. What's wrong with you? I sleep all day and I work outside all night. The house is yours. So where do you want to go? So every night he will come back and next morning I will ask him, what did you get? Nothing. Allah will be graceful tomorrow. And he'll go to sleep. So for 30 days I kept on asking him, and he kept on saying, nothing today, but Allah will be graceful tomorrow. And I started thinking to myself, I count, have I done 5 namaz or not? And this guy count nothing. Every day he says, God. So that was my second lesson. And so after 1 month, I couldn't take him anymore. He was a better saint than I was. So I had to get out of there. So I picked up my only lota I had, and I went out. I was walking all day, felt thirsty, found a little pond, and now I'm hesitating to step into the pond because there's a lot of mud around it, and I had only 1 cloth and 1 lota, that's it. So I don't want to dirty the cloth. What to do? So while I was dilly-dallying, I saw a dog coming. He made a jump, went right in the smack middle of the pond. He drank the water, he took a bath, and smiling, he went away. I said, oh, Junaid, this dog is smarter than you are. You don't need this thing to bathe and to take water, drink water. Look at the dog. See, I had only that one. I threw that into the water. That was my second master. The dog was my second master. Junaid, what are you trying to tell us? Life is the master. The word is the master. The master is the one which helps you to change your life. Isn't that what Nanak said? Word is the master. It doesn't matter where it comes from. The word that changes your life, that puts you on the path of spirituality, to evolution, that's your master. Forget about assigning any attachment to the body form, the individuals. But those who don't, what happens to them? Tinna paas na baisiye, una ghar na girao. Till you are ready, withdraw back. Till you have the energy collected enough that you can influence others, don't let them affect you. Create a distance. Katiye te nit jaliye ona shabad na nao. Because you are trying to stay with the word, they are trying to stay with the outside world, it's not going to work. But those who are, this is what they will do. Hukme karma kamamane paiye kirta firao, hukme darshan dekhana jab hai jeta jao, hukme har har man vase, hukme sach samao. They would never ever forget that every event in the life is his will. They will never say, I am the doer. They will never associate the subject with any action that's happening through them. Why? Because it is his will. Hukume karma kamamane. Whatever is being done, it is his will. Paiye kirta firao. I just got an email from Delhi, and that email said, I'm attending a camp and it's opening a lot of spaces for me, but I'm getting scared that I may completely run away from the real world. So I wrote them back, I said, if that is the case, then you haven't understood the process. Meditation, spirituality is not mutually exclusive to the worldly affairs. Only the quality changes. The action remains the same. You will still go to work, but then you will be thinking, he is going to work, not me. You still be performing, But you won't be thinking of any competition that he's higher than I am, lower than I am. We had that conversation, Divan Sahib was asking me the other day. How do you compete if you become a meditator? No, you don't. It's not how. You don't even think of competing. You let the nature flow through you. And you'll be surprised how nature creates all these things. I still remember that my father was completely uneducated man. Completely uneducated. And he joined the police force in the British Empire and rose to the highest civil, being a civil, to the highest CID level, Crime Investigation Department. And everybody will ask him, what you do? Are you pass an exam? I said, no. They give me an assignment, I complete it, and whatever is happening is happening. They keep on raising my salary, they keep on raising my level, they keep on giving me promotions. They are doing it. I'm just doing the job they tell me to do. And I said, don't do that, now do that. So if I had done that well, they say, okay, now don't do that, do that. The nature is just flowing. I can't tell you why I am now allowed to. He was the only private, a foreigner, a Sikh, who was allowed to carry the pistol, which became his albatross because he was the only one in the entire community. And then he got labeled with as a murderer of 52 Muslims in our neighborhood because it was a mixed neighborhood. Because he was the only one carrying the gun. But anyway, that's a side story. What I'm basically saying to you is, the thought of competing comes from the fact that if I don't compete, I am not going to get what I deserve. Whereas a meditator says, I am getting whatever I deserve. No question asked. If I deserve more, it will come. If it doesn't come, it was never meant to be. I wanted to be an engineer. My parents wanted me to be an industrialist. I ended up in engineering college and my older brother used to make fun of me. Say, when you get out of the college, you're going to work for me. And I am only 5th grade. Ha 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 ha. And that's exactly what happened. Nobody will give me a job. He gave me the job when I got out of the college. Totally illiterate person hiring an engineer, university graduate, qualified engineer. Something that, and the success, economic success that he achieved, I haven't achieved all my life. Because he went into business. He built his business, he built his manufacturing factories after factories and kept on buying land after land after land, etc. So what I'm saying is the nature has a plan. We just need to develop that confidence in it. We need to surrender ourselves to the will. So the concept of the day that couple came and they were talking about how can you live in the world like with that mindset? On the contrary, if you have that mindset, living in that world will become so peaceful, so enjoyable, so relaxing that they will be asking you, what's going on? Why there is so much aura about you? Why there is so much? Why are you so relaxed? And all you have to say, I cannot give you the answer. You just come and follow the process. You may also get there. What is that? That's what Gurbani is pointing out here, which is saying, Hukme karma kamamne paiye kirt firao hukme darshan dekhna jeh bheje teh jao hukme har har man vase hukme sach samao. Every event that's going around in your life, and including the current one, This is not without his will. You have to be grateful. That gratitude has to be offered and expressed vocally and openly. Let it out to the nature. Thanks for allowing this opportunity. हुक्म न जाने बपड़े भूले फिरे गवार. Again, the other side of the picture. Those who don't understand the will, what do? They forget the will and then bhoole phire gawar man hath karma kamamde. Here is the answer to that question. Man hath literally means being stubborn. I'm going to do this because I want that result. So, okay, fine, go ahead, do that. So you do it, and at the end of the result is something different. And now you are bitter. Now you are blaming everybody but yourself. What's wrong with that logic? Let me do an MBA or DDS or this so that I can become this, or a heart surgeon or a brain surgeon or this. So that I can be that. What's wrong with that logic? The problem with that logic is that is one of the possibilities when you do this. It is not the only possibility. When I become a doctor, one of the possibility is that I may make a lot of money. But there's another possibility. I may make a lot of money and I may lose all in a single malpractice suit. Or I may be under the control of HMO that I can't even get my own house payment made. All those other possibilities are there. What do we say? Well, God is partial. He's punishing me for something. Look at that. He did the same MBA that I did. I put in the same number of hours and same effort. My marks are higher than his and he's making more money than I am. Where's the justice in this? Well, let me tell you, life is not designed around the law of justice. It isn't. Because if it was designed around the law of justice, what should the horse eat if the grass says, hey, you mean I am only born to be your food? Where's the justice in that? Should the lamb say, am I only born to be a food for the tiger? Where's the justice in that? Small fish should say, hey, I am only because the big fish can eat me? Where's the justice in that? The life is not built around the law of justice. And don't we start our life with that question all the time? Mom, that's not fair. Don't we start the life that way? Yes, son, it's not supposed to be fair. Welcome to this world. It's not built around fairness. Well, then what it is built around? That's called law of balance. What does that mean? Because if it was justice or fairness, then there should be 50% water and 50% land and 50% air. Is that possible? 20% land is having hard enough time sustain the planet. The water is getting polluted and the air is getting polluted. Only just 20% of the land. Imagine if this land was more, what will happen? is based on the law of balance. So, हुक्मे कर्म कमावने पहले कृत फराओ हुक्मे दर्शन देखना जय भेजे तो जाओ हुक्म हर हर मन वसे हुक्मे सच समाओ हुक्म न जाने बपड़े भूले फिरे गवार मन हट कर्म कमावंदे. So they insist, they become stubborn to do a particular act, and then what happens? Nit nit hoye khuar. That is the story of every human being. Well, you cannot talk to any mother-in-law and they will tell you that the daughters-in-laws are no good. Oh, wait a minute. Weren't you a daughter-in-law sometime before? Only just a few years ago, you were a daughter-in-law yourself. Were you any different? Isn't that the experience of every mother-in-law? Bar, few exceptions here and there. No? Oh, your experience is different. Okay, let's hear it.
She's good. She's not terrible.
Okay, I said barring, so you are one of the exceptions, so that doesn't make the world. Because the whole of the culture sings about how bad the mother-in-law is, isn't it? That's what our children grow up with. है ना? शीटा रेशम दियां मुल्तानों आईयां ने मावा अपनियां जिन्हां रीझां लाईयां ने ते सस्सां बेगानड़ियां जिन्हां गलों लहाइयां ने. I didn't write it.
But you know it.
That is the culture you grew up with. How can you deny that? हाँ, एक मेरी सस नी कुड़े भैड़ी चंदरी दिले दी खोटी नित फड़े पैला पाम दी जिवें कच्ची सड़क ते बोती नहीं रब जाने चंदरी दा केड़ा लाचियां दा बाग मैं उजाड़िया. What does that mean? The basic relations are envisioned to be something, and in reality they turn out to be something. It is the experience of everyone, every human being. But we insist, no, man hat karma kamamande. You go talk to any woman, she says, I want a child. Well, why don't you talk to the one who already have? See if they are very happy. And then do something that will make you happy too. Now, I will be different. And then within 20 years they find out they are not that different. But manhat karma kamamde. Why? They are not seeing the will of the Creator. If you are looking for a true happiness, true sukha, the only place you're going to get is in a relation with Him. All other relations might give you some temporary pleasantness, but the unhappiness is coming right behind it. And let me submit to you, that unhappiness may not be because they are bad, it may just come because they cannot be with you forever. Then their separation alone will be painful enough. So why to make a... That's why Gurbani says, Kis naal kiche dosthi, sab jag challan har. When everything is subject to destruction, how can you think of making a relationship with that? How can you think of creating? Because you don't know how long that will last for you. But there's only one thing that is never destroyed, never goes away. It is that creative energy. So why don't you start developing the relationship with that? But those who don't understand, then what happened to them? Antar shant na avani na sach lagge pyar. The inside never gets the peace that you really can have, and you are not really in love with the ultimate truth. But those who are, again, their picture is Gurmukhiyan mukh sohne, Guru ka het pyar, sachi bhakti, sach rate, dar sache sacyar, aaye se parvan hain, sab kul ka kare adhar. Those who are following the word that came out of Guru's mouth, Guru's mukh, they themselves, being in love with that word, het means the het, and pyar means the being in love with the word and the master, sachi bhakti sacharate. They are onto the bhakti marg, they are onto the meditative environment, and they are completely absorbed into sacharate, dar sache sacyar, and aaye se parvan hai. Those are the one who are making this cycle a successful one. They will be accepted. Parvan hai, accept ho jana. I say parvan hai. Those who are in this dimension with that kind of a frame of mind, they will be accepted. Sab kul ka kare udhar. They will become the motivators and examples to all those who are around them. Sab nadri karma kamamde, nadri bahar na koe. So in conclusion, those who are on any action, they are according to his will. Sab nadri karma kamamde. It's a constant reminder. Nadri bahar na koe, जैसी नदर कर देखे सच्चा तैसा ही को होए. Somebody was talking to me actually only yesterday, and he asked me a very funny question. He says, Bhaji, do you know if when you die you are going to go on the other side, or you don't know yet? And I said, I really don't worry about it. If it's meant to be in his mind, then it will be. If it's not meant to be, it won't be, and I am okay with both decisions. No, but come on, I mean, you know, if we get hung up somewhere and we don't go over the class, don't you get worried about yourself? No. Yeah, and you know, see, that's why I don't agree with you. I mean, you have to have some proof that what you're doing is actually bringing some benefit to you. You know, I don't need the proof. I honestly don't. Then how do you know if you're doing the right thing or wrong thing? Or you're wasting your time? Now, isn't that a beautiful question? Think about it. How do we ever know if this is the right or that's the right? राह विच आए ने दो रस्ते, इधर जाके उधर जा. है ना? So how do we decide it? What does Guru Nanak say? It's inside you. So, but what is inside you? How do you know? Well, here is a very simple test. When you make a right decision that was right for you, not in the rest of the world, but that your journey, your inner will be at very much peace. There will be no conflict inside you. There will be no turmoil. Even though you see the other options, well, had I done this, maybe it would have been this, maybe it would have been that, maybe it would have been. Now, when you are submitted with more than one option and you like all of them but you are not sure, how do you know what is the right option for you? The question to ask is, what gives me the most peace of mind? Remember my words, it's peace of mind, not the entertainment of the body. Right? That's not what I'm talking about. What is the peace of mind? सामने खाना पिया है, स्वादी है, everybody is offering it. You should taste this. And ज़बान कहती भी कर लेना चाहिए. But if you are on any kind of a health watch and you resist it, what happens inside?
One more.
Don't you feel good? Oh yeah, there was a lot of temptation, but I was good. But you take it, then what happens? You feel good at that time. You say, oh God, I should not have done that. I knew better, but I still did not resist it. What is the test? How do you make sure? That's what Gurbani said as the very first step. Hukam razai chalana nanak likhya naal tere andar hai. So make the test inside, not outside. Yeah, outside will feel good. Touching, smelling, loving, caressing, eating, drinking, sleep, all will feel good. But well, I got up in the morning, and I should have done my meditation, but then I fell asleep. But if when you are falling asleep, you became alert, stood up, started walking around and continued with your meditation, what will happen? That day you'll feel very good about yourself. And if you fall asleep, the body will feel more rested, no question about it. But during the day, what will it be? Damn it, I fell down again. Couldn't keep my practice. And that's what Gurbani is hinting here. जैसी नदर करे देखे सच्चा तैसा ही को होए. See inside. The inside one is actually seeing your inner and sending you that message, and that's the only thing that will keep you at peace with yourself. Nanak naam vadaiyan karam parapat hoye. That greatness, vadai means that greatness. Naam the greatness. That greatness is available to you only through His grace, only through His prasad, only through His will. So what should you do? You should surrender to that will. Remind yourself at every step of the life that whatever is happening according to His will. I am only the instrument. It is through me that He is flowing, but He is the one who is the real karta, who is the real doer. And that concludes the 20th Ashatpadi, and we will continue this journey when we meet next time. Thank you all for coming, and we will open for any discussion.
When you accept everything as God's will, that's happening because God wanted it like that, doesn't it stop you from trying to get something better in your life, in this world, to exist? How do you handle that?
We just went through that. That's
I know you maybe understand, but I'm just trying to still figure out how it can be applied to life.
it's very much applicable to life. It's basically talking about the life. Something better for your life is an assumption, not a reality. If I do this, something better will happen. That's a cause and effect. Right? That's not ordained, that's not definite, that's not necessary. That whatever you do will automatically lead to that result. The reality is you may not do anything and that may come to your way anyway. That becomes the mindset of the seeker. The seeker leaves it up to the creative energy. If something better is meant for me, it will happen. So what do I do then? I just do the karma without worrying about it.
So this means you must work hard, but don't wait for the results. If it's meant to be, it will come to you. That's
The
what-
working hard part is only as a karma yogi.
Yeah.
Because what else you would do? There are 24 hours, 8 hours you're going to sleep, 1 hour may you take for your personal thing. There are about 15 hours, then you're going to stay awake. What are you going to do? Do something to keep yourself busy. Whatever happens, happens. Whatever you are capable of, do.
ये DVD देखना pretty raw form.
Okay.
So do your things without looking for results.
That we always say.
When you act, you do not act thinking short term or long term. Some loose connection or the bulb is going.
Show is ending.
Huh?
Rabbi करे कि कुछ.
The West has experimented with something good for the whole century. Right? Gone all the way to the moon. Now they're traveling to Mars. That's all good, according to them. So the fundamental question is, are they happy? We come from the East with the same hope, with same idea. Are we happy?
That's $1 million question.
Till today. In India, if you offer somebody that I will take you to America, would anybody say no? 90% of the people will say, yeah, we want to get out. Why is that? Yeah.
Here you have to vacuum, you have to clean, you have to do dishes. There's somebody else to do for you. Somebody have a driver to drive car.
But had somebody told us there, would we have said, I don't want this?
We didn't know. You accepted it.
Now you know. If you tell the same to your relatives, friends over there, do they accept it?
They will accept, but then they'll find out after they come first. Then they say, oh my God, it's not easy here.
Only
Some
after.
of them have gone back.
Yeah, no, but
Only afterwards.
only after.
Only after.
From their own experience.
By our telling, it looks, it looks very flowery to them. It's
And that's the point.
They see these all TVs and they say, oh, America is great.
And that's what Gurbani is saying. Guru is telling you that what you think is something better for you, and you're going to work hard for it, Be very careful. First thing, you may not get it. And if you do get it, it may not be
There forever.
good for you.
May not be right thing for you.
So, if you want the true blissful life, go with the flow. Let the nature do it.
And you'll have contentment.
Then you will have the contentment.
Obviously, be careful for what you wish for.
Yeah,
You might get
you might get it.
But the West philosophy is that unless you strive, you're not going to get it.
Right.
And therein lies the biggest fallacy.
But then if you don't get it, you'll be doubly mad and you'll be
I'm very unhappy.
unhappy. You make yourself unhappy.
Either way, it's still a philosophy.
Yes, Rekha, you were going to say something.
No, I was thinking, how do you define happiness? You said, are you happy?
Only you can be the decider.
Right.
Be-
You
come
want to be happy, you can be happy.
Whatever comes
But
back.
these different things.
Yeah.
एक किताब बहुत सारी लिखी थी फ्लो पढ़ने वाली that gives this whole definition of what's a life that we should live it. Then
की थी?
flow किताब तरह ही flow
Hmm.
just flow. That's based on this concept of life.
Flow written by who is the writer?
Just throw on the internet on the just flow. American author है
Flow.
The happiness is a personal statement. You cannot cut the definition from somebody else.
So when you are unhappy, then you can bring angerness to along. And without even realizing.
Now, Kabir says in the Gurbani, he says, I am very much at peace with myself. But the people say, Kabir kahe, log kahe Kabir Baurana. He's gone mad. Why? Because, he goes to the bazaar to sell the cloth and then comes home after giving it free. क्योंकि उसने कहा राम जी के लिए बुलाया है तो किसी ने कह दिया अरे राम से पैसे मांगता है उसका नहीं राम जी रख लो फिर So the interesting thing is he lived 115 years of life on this planet in India in one of the poorest states with a family, wife, children.
He probably didn't smoke and he didn't drink. Maybe he was eating angur and they were
Yeah, his wife never said, I've been cooking all week, today I want to go out.
Was there a go out in those times?
Thank you.
ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕੁਝ ਉਚਰੋ ਚੁੱਪ ਕੀਤੇ ਬੈਠੇ ਹੋ
When you said before that you have choices, but go with the one that feels right inside, but how do you know your head's not involved in it? You have choices. Because
Knowing is associated with your inner being.
I know, but the inner being is still influenced by.
Because you will find, you remember the term high road?
I know the term. To China.
The high road means that you are taking the decisions on something higher than yourself. Okay, what does that mean? Majority of the decisions are meant to gratify one sense or the other. So if the decision is made to not worry about the senses, but worry about the spiritual peace, it will always end up giving you the peace. Let's go deep into it. No need to run away from it. Yeah, let's dig deeper into it. We were just, when I went to pick her up, we were just talking about that someone is trying to use the modern means of finding a relation. And when the dialogue was initiated and said, please send me this information about you, the response came back, why should I send you first? Why don't you send them? What is this based on? Right? So if the start is based on that type of a competitive environment, how far that kind of relationship, even if it matures, is going to take you. Now, if you are not the competitive type, what should you do?
Send it.
Just withdraw back and say, thank you very much. Not because, okay, at least somebody responded, I'm so glad, let me go ahead with it anyway, so what? Right? So if the decision is based on the inner self, which is saying, hey, yes, somebody responded, and I've been waiting for at least one response for such a long time, and somebody just responded, I should not throw it out. Why not? Because that's based on my desire to create a relationship, is it not? A relationship belongs to the physical dimension, does it not? But what is the spiritual need saying? Spiritual saying, I need to free myself from the egoism, and here I am striking a relationship purely based on the ego. So when you take that, the inner voices, and that decisions are called high road. Take the high road. Leave the senses behind.
Doesn't it seem like then you have ego in return also? So why should I send it?
No, that's not the case. No, that's not the case. Let's say it was the reverse. Let's assume that the mail had come in from that side and said, please send this information. I would have sent it, not ask even a second question. It is that query and sense of competitiveness is what you are, not the information exchange. If you initiate first, I'll say yes, sir. If I initiate, I expect you to say yes, sir. And if you don't, that means you and I are not going to go too far. Even if I ignore this, somewhere along the line, this thing is again going to come up.
But whoever initiated and asked for the information, then
Yeah.
the other person returns, send it.
That's it. So, the inner, if you take the physical thing out of it and take the spiritual road to the decision, it will always be right. And in the long term, you will always feel good about it. Not immediately, because you have sacrificed the immediate gratification.
But they're feeling good. That's, I don't know, I just feel that there's ego involved in that decision and feeling good too. I did the right thing.
Well, stay with that. If you see the ego making that decision and feeling good at that moment for you, then that is the right decision. That's what I was saying. In the high road decisions, the best case scenario is that you feel immediately good as well as long term. Slightly worse case scenario is that in the beginning you may feel bad, but in the long term you will feel good. But the decisions made on the physical dimension will always have the negative effect in the long. They cannot be, because the physical world has both dimensions. You will always have the negative with it. And that's what Gurbani was teaching today. Manhat mean insistence. Hat means insistence based on your own mindset. And the mind says, I need this relationship now. I won't argue the point, as both of you are saying that isn't there an element of ego? Yeah, maybe there is. But for your own evolution and peace of mind till you get to the highest state, some of the decisions are going to be made that way. And that is the right decision for your growth. Because it feels good now, it will continue feeling on the long term, yeah, I didn't need to go there. So whether it is to do with the money, whether it is to do with the body, whether it is to do with the emotions, whether it is to do with the power base, when there are multiple alternatives, the alternative that's based on the inner thinking will always lead to the peace of mind, without fail. You can look at your own life history and you can analyze multiple of those decisions, whether you're starting your own business, raising a family, getting married, raising a child, getting unmarried, and all of those decisions.
It happened with me at work today, so that's why I'm agreeing.
Yeah. No, it is not a one person's conclusion.
But then the ego I'm saying is because the management was there and I could have gone this way where it would have been very lucrative, and I could have gone this way where it's good for the other person and not thinking about me. So
when you made that decision, it makes you feel good.
Sitting there thinking about it, and I said, okay, forget about this, just do this.
Yeah.
But the management is there, and they say, yeah, that's the right one. You did right. But then that makes you feel. That's where the ego a little bit comes in.
Yeah.
You know?
But that's what the journey is.
Yeah,
That's the journey.
That's what she was saying.
Yeah, and I agree with that.
Saying for what you did.
gratification even in that aha, I made the right.
And also to do the right thing, there's the whole process of all the things that have happened to you. It's like a programming, right?
Yeah.
Continuous programming. And even coming here every other Fridays, there's a certain programming that's going on.
And every program that's operating inside you, sooner or later that program has to be cut.
Right, so that's why I was
And
thinking.
as you outgrow the need for that program, that's the key. Right? Remember what I just said. The only belief system allowed is no belief system. Every program is operating under certain belief system. When you outgrow that belief system, now how do you outgrow that belief system now?
But there's always going to be some program.
No. Eventually the only program will be no program. That's what's called an enlightenment, right? No program. Pure observation. No observer, no object. Pure observation. That's the ultimate. Right? That's the nirvana, that's the enlightenment, that's the samadhi. But when you are going on the process, you are coming across your belief system if you are honest enough and you can look at it. When you look at it with this absolute, unattached, dispassionate mind, you can drop that belief system and your new boundary will be drawn of the new belief systems. Let's take, for example, the very, very fundamental. I'm a woman, you are a man. It's a belief system. Right? Think about it. Is it not a belief system? Come on. I mean, the science today allows you spend $5,000 and you can be made into a man today. Right? It's just a vehicle with certain parts highlighted, certain parts dormant. Do you know that every child till the age of 6 weeks has the potential of becoming both man and woman?
6 weeks of conception or 6 weeks?
6 weeks. No, conception. Conception. Every child. It is the 7th week where the glands kick in to either create the uterus and the ovaries and the testes and the penis. Otherwise it's born with both potentials. And if you ask any doctor if they were to operate the pelvic bone today, they will find the telltale signs that you were once upon a time a man, and they will find in me once upon a time I was a woman. There is a telltale sign in the pelvic bone. When the programming, DNA programming kicked out and certain parts of the body took shape. Okay, so in the reason I took that example, that if you look at this belief with an absolute, unattached, unbiased mind, would it not tell you that it does not matter in the realm of spirituality whether I'm a man or a woman? We are equal. Right?
You have to say it doesn't matter. You have to say it.
Now, if you start living with that belief system, that you don't give any importance to when you see another woman, or don't put any other man you see, hasn't your belief system expanded? Right? You have now included into your information that was earlier exclusive, outside the belief system boundary. Now you have brought it inside and expanded your current boundary. Okay. So you have gotten rid of a man and a woman. And then your belief system, I was born into a Hindu family, or a Christian family, or a Sikh family, or a Muslim family. And then you see that as a truth. As a poet says, Ya Rab, तूने सबको इंसान बनाया, हमने किसे हिंदू किसे मुसलमान बनाया. तूने तो बनाई थी बस एक ही दर थी, हमने कहीं हिंद कहीं ईरान बनाया. Means what? Oh God, you only made a human. It's the man who made somebody a Hindu and somebody a Muslim. You made one earth. It's the humans who divided it into different countries and Iran and Hindustan and etc. etc. God doesn't see the earth as that. He doesn't see the boundary as this is India, this is America, this is this. It's only human who sees that way. And then after seeing that way, they have created a belief system. I'm an Indian, so I'm going to fight for being an Indian. Isn't it? That leads to other belief systems. But if you take this belief system that I am just a human and start living like that, putting into practice, hasn't the belief system dropped and the boundary expanded? Ultimately, all beliefs will be dropped and there will be no boundary left to draw. It will be infinite. That is the journey. Till that time, the ego will be there. Right? Ego is the one who is deciding.
And the intellect.
Right? The intellect, whatever you want to call it. Now give your name. The point I am making is that there will, till there is an observer, there is an object, there is a decision process. But a time will come when there will be no observer left. There will no more. You start breaking. Ultimately, you reach a place there's nothing to break left. Which is what is happening to a scientist. They started with a molecule to the atom to the then within the atom the proton and neutron, and then within them and we came to the quantum. And then there are meson and photons and a matter that can exist simultaneously at multiple places. Right? You remember that? Not only as a concept, but they are taking pictures with a camera. Look, there's the same part here and there. They are not two separate particles, they're the same part. Well, how can the part be other two? It's just a matter. Well, it's a picture. See it. Because it's behaving as a consciousness, not as a matter. You see it as a matter. Consciousness is sitting here at the same time thinking of India right now while talking to me. Right? Consciousness can exist anywhere, multiple times. Energy can be anywhere. And the speed of light is not the limitation for the consciousness, is it? Billions of light years away, I can be sitting here and thought doesn't take any time to be there. So when is that stage come? When you become completely cleaned from the paradigms that you have grown up with, which is what Bulle Shah is saying. Bulleya, edron puttana te edar lana. Uproot it from where it is now and replant it somewhere in a different way. That's the only thing you need to do. And you will suddenly start seeing the Creator. But if you stay where you are planted, the way you were born, the way you were raised, the way you were educated, if you stay there, you are not going. You can talk about God, but you are never going to experience it. You will be talking about it. You will never know it. You will collect the information. And what is that information? Somebody else's experience, not your own. Which is what we are doing here, right? I mean, we are reading the scripture, which is documenting the experiences of someone else. with the hope that if we follow the same thing that they did, we might also experience what they experienced. Might. Not has to. Which is the fundamental riddle. Unless you guarantee a human being they don't want to move. Yeah? What's the idea? We know it's not going to happen. Someone asked me last Sunday. He said, was there only one disciple of Guru Nanak when he was alive? I said, no. There were hundreds, thousands of them. So nobody else got to the stage where the second Guru got? So that's what is going on. Yeah. Well, then what is the possibility of us ever getting anywhere? I said, nobody can answer that question. No, but come on, is it a matter of common sense? When the real master is sitting and guiding you and only one attains out of thousands, I said not out of thousands, millions and millions. But do you stop walking? It's almost saying the possibility of winning a lottery is 1 in a million. Why bother? Okay. But if you don't buy, is that possibility even left? 1 in a million? Haven't you given up that also? And that's the paradigm that needs to shift first. Which is whether it happens now or not. I am walking. I am moving in that direction. I am going to do something solid in that direction. Why? Because I am convinced that the direction I am following now has no possibility. I'm not even buying the lottery, much less winning it. So I at least need to throw my hat in the circle and say, will you accept me? He may not ever accept. But I have to throw the hat. That's the nature of this beast. So we started with the question that you asked, how do you know? The litmus test. Apply the rules of a high road. Meaning thereby, look at the mystical and spiritual aspect of your decision. Not intellectual, not emotional, not physical. Only look at the spiritual. If you want to be it without any doubt to be the right decision. But if you are willing to take a gamble, logically it seems okay, let's try it. Then be ready to accept any result that comes thereof. You take the spiritual road, it will always be good.
Mostly we make the logical decision. Mostly we tend to take the logical
Right. But that logic should not assume only one reaction to the action. Therein lies the fault. With your deductive knowledge, whatever information you have at that time, you make a choice. Okay, this data leads me to this choice. But that choice has multiple outcomes.
Yes.
And one should be ready for the multiple outcomes. The problem is that one gets very, very focused on one choice, one result. That's what causes the pain.
Right. It comes out totally something else.
Yeah. Anything else? Shall we call it a day or a night? Well, thank you very much.
बड़ी परेशान हो रही थी But there's even